Greetings, everybody. Amar here, and this is actually a message to Rusty Arrow, and it's basically how I look at the scoreboard. Now, the scoreboard, of course, is new in Advantage Gold, and I understand that the 8187 data problem is annoying, but of course, in this particular game, we're only looking at 1900 games. Now, in regards to weights in the scoreboard, I never really put any value in the weights because first of all, it never worked. There's no way to backtest it, and so I just don't worry about it. But what I have done here is that I've weighted each chart by the number chart, right? So I can see, like here, chart 5 is weighted chart 5. Chart 6 is weighted chart 6. And chart C, I just weighted 1 and D is 2. Now, the main reason for this is that when I scroll down here, right, and you don't really know, you don't, if these were just X's or you just put this, if you're looking over here, it gets a little confusing. So for me, it's clarity as far as what chart I'm looking at. So like I'm looking down here, I see that's a 6, I know it's chart 6. If this is weighted a 7, I might think, first of all, the weight, again, doesn't mean anything. Now, what I like to do is I like to sort this by out. Well, first things, let me just explain. Number one, I don't run chart number 3, okay? Because chart number 3, to me, is generally useless. And anyway, the rank is here. Basically, chart 3 is the rank, right? Now, if you change the range, chart 3 and the rank will also change. So I don't run 3 because the rank is right here. Now I don't run 4 because I have a hard copy big dish, right? And I also printed out chart 4B. I've already marked it, so I already know what numbers that I'm looking at. Okay, so I did chart 5 just so I don't overlook the repeats. Chart 6, which took about 10 minutes because 59 numbers is ridiculous. And then again, chart C is adjacent. I don't want to overlook them. And chart D also, I don't want to overlook them. You can see there's a lot of trailers, but generally, when it comes in regards to the trailers, when I run the chart D, I'll only consider the top 3 of the total sums. When you sort the column, the last column that adds up all of the trailers, I only consider the last 3 because look how many trailers are here. You can't put all these trailers in a wheel, really. It's just too much. I mean, if you're doing a 30 number wheel, 30 lines perhaps, but I don't really like it. So what I do then is let me see. Oh, and in regards to chart 3, so I don't run chart 3, but I will I will print out chart 3. And generally when I print out chart 3, I'll again sort it by the rank because you don't really need it should be by the best number. You want to focus on the top numbers and not the bottom numbers. And also chart C, the adjacents, I will also print out and I'll look. Trailers, they don't print out because it changes every drawing, even though I've had some ideas for Excel. Hit charts, again, also I don't print out because I'm using the big dish, which means I'm counting the dormant periods of where we are. And so it doesn't even matter what's in the last 50. You got to know how many dormant periods. If you're in like 4, 5, 6, for instance, there's certain numbers right now that are in 5 dormant periods. But if you look at the number 3, it looks like it's like 8 dormant periods. So looking at chart 7 is not going to give you that information. So the big dish helps with that. And then of course the 4B is where I start the dish because I start counting there and then I transfer the information to the 4 and then I use the 4 as like a hard copy. So with this chart, since you have all these new sorting abilities, what I generally do is I'll sort by the games out. Because as you know, by skips, generally the zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s, those occur most, and then the curve will flatten out, and then you have, all the long shots. And then here, and then I force this just so I can have a record of it. Of course, it doesn't matter what the score is. I don't really care. I'm not worried about that. So what I usually do is I'll mark a skip 0. Now, of course, you have this 10. This 10 looks really hot and hitting. It is kind of pulling me, but this is just like a preliminary workout. Because I have another chart. I exported the companion chart, and I meshed it so it's like a hybrid with the drawing sense hit chart, the big dish, and then I can sort it. Now that one I made in Excel. It didn't take that long, but that one I can send to you, and you can see if you know how you like it or whatever. But that'll be for like a later time, because of course all we got is time. All right, so I mark a skip 0, and then I go to skip 1, and then I go to skip 2. Here's just my 4, so skip 2. And the thing is that this has a 4A. This is what the Pac-Man would be, right? Now, since it's sorted by skip, you're not really gonna see adjacents, but you can see here like the skip patterns. But if you did sort by the number, you could think that you could go like this, the 45-degree Pac-Man, but I don't really like the Pac-Man chart too much, and I never really had that much luck with it. And I would prefer numbers here. Like here, this says 30, game out. But when I print out my 4A, this says 30 over here, so I know exactly where I am. So if we go back to sorting by the out, you have a little drawing sense hit chart. Basically the 4A is a drawing sense hit chart going from left to right. A chart 4 is a drawing sense hit chart going from top to bottom, and a 4B is a drawing sense hit chart where you leave out all these dashes and basically you just show the last number. So like here, for you know this, but this is for other people. So this would be 1 1 2 0. That would be the 4B. And so basically I go through that, and this is what my Fibonacci methodology would be as far as skips. Generally, I like the 0 1, and then I'll look at the 2, the 3, 4, 5s, and then according to what she says in the book, that's where you cut it off. She says, however, all digits in the last 5, don't always. I mean, all numbers being drawn in the last 5 games or 6 games can go into a dormant period. You can have a period where you're just having, long shots, long shots, long shots, and especially with a game like the Mega Million, you're gonna have more luck in Mega Millions with the long shots than with the hot skips. And so I'll have to look at the long skips in Excel to see what's in a flag. So basically, that's pretty much what I do. So here I flag the skip 2, this is a skip 3, skip 5. I didn't play all the 6s. You can check, you can see the pattern here. So this is a 1 5, that's a classic flag. This is a 3 5 symmetry. I picked this one. This is skip 3 because this is a 3 1 3 symmetry. And then there was, the more advanced patterns, of course, is the reverse flag and the reverse intermediate. So this, I'm not sure if this is a reverse intermediate or not, but it's definitely an intermediate. And I think one of these is a 7-5-7 pattern here. You could feasibly put last 20 and you could see the whole thing, or you could put the last 10 and then have a 4B here also, so you can see the symmetry easier. But like I said, I don't. Well, anyway, let's see, where are we here? All right, so skip 10, that's not a Fibonacci skip, but I like the 10. And also you can see in the rank, it's a good number. And then chart 6, you can see here that's a good pick. As far as a bottom, I had my big dish here. The skip pattern of the 8 it's a 5, 12, 4, 10. So there's a 10, 12 symmetry in there. It's in the 4th dormant period. I'm sorry, it's in the 5th dormant period. But I'm not sure. I like the 4 at skip 7. Did I even mark the 4 at skip 7? Where's the 7 here? I marked the 6. So I might. Oh, you can see here the 4 is at a 6, and that's because this is a 7 here, but then there's a 5 here, and then there's another 7. So there's a 7 5 7. So I might mark it. But of course, only 4 lines. I don't have that many numbers I can play. I mean, I could do the way Tex does, the way he does his wheels, where he'll play 4 lines and he'll play 6, 12, 8. He'll play 24 numbers in 6 lines. And he'll have like super dumb luck that way, and he'll hit something. Me, I like to be more particular and do the skips or whatever. And I'll probably do a Gail Howard wheel, but I haven't looked at a wheel yet. So anyway, the final thing that I do here, and I don't really mess with the long skips again because these are just ridiculously hard to predict. Even though you have the sixes here, but still, I want to look. I don't have the ice pyramids, but these long shots. One chart that you could consider using is the K2. Now I had asked Joe, can you turn the pyramids just into regular columns? And he gave me a long bullshit explanation. I didn't really like. He would have had to do like gone back and undone a lot of programming or whatever to make that happen. So anyway, that's what I'll run the macros for. All this the macro and the ice pyramid charts helps for these long shots to see the longer bottoms and stuff like that, but it still doesn't guarantee anything. So the final thing that I'll do is and then I'll just sort it by the number because because I want a hard copy, but if I have it hard copy like this, it gets confusing because these are not in order, and I mean you have the skips, and it's just easier to have the number order here, so you can find the number. If like this, you can't find the number here, you know that whatever, the general order of the numbers, and then that's it. And then the last thing I do is I just print it out. So if I print it,